Hey everyone, I'm Dan, and I'm going to give you some advice about backpacking and traveling around, and specifically Europe, because that's where I spent a few months this past summer. And before you go, there are a couple things you need to do, such as planning and packing, preparing, and making some purchases. 4 P's. Yeah, you got to do those 4 things. And when you make some of these big purchases, maybe the biggest one would be your backpack. So I'm going to show you a couple things about a backpack and walk you through the process of getting a backpack. I'm going to cover 4 main areas. The first would be the size of backpack you want. The second would be the features you should look for on your backpack. The third is going to be where to buy your backpack and what kind of pricing you should be looking for. And the fourth will be how to customize your bag once you have it, and not make sure it fits you right, but a way that you can identify your bag and make it your own, so that as you're traveling around you can tell which one is yours. All right, so let's get started. I've got my backpack right here. This is the Teton 4000, so that gets into size. 4000 is 4,000 cubic inches, or it's sometimes in liters, which is 65 liters. This is a medium-sized bag. It looks small as it's right here, but in reality it's actually a pretty big bag. This top fills up, and when the whole bag is full, it actually looks a lot bigger. It actually has a lot of space to it. With the side compartments, you can hold anything you need in this bag. I had a big camera bag with me, and it fit in here along with everything else I needed for 3 months of traveling. This is a great size to go with. I would recommend 65 liters because if you go with a bigger size like 80, you end up having almost too much space. You'll pack things, you'll grab souvenirs that you don't really need, and you end up having to carry around more than you really want. This helps limit you, and it puts you, that sounds like a bad thing, but it helps put you in the mindset of, I don't have that much space, I need to be careful what I pack, I need to be careful what I'm carrying around, because in the end it's not worth carrying a ton of stuff. You'll be carrying it for miles and miles and miles, and you don't want to have a heavier bag than you need. So 65 is the size I would recommend. Now there are other things to consider if you are going camping or bringing rock climbing gear or snorkeling gear, other things that are outside of the usual packing material, then you might want to consider a bigger bag. But for all usual purposes, even with a large camera bag or a laptop, a great size bag right here. So now we have to cover some features you're looking for. All right, this bag has some cool features, like in the front, it's got this mesh here, which is nice to have when you pick up something and you don't want to put it all the way into your other bag. You want a main compartment. You just slip it in the side here. You also have water bottle containers on the side and little side pouches and a zipper on the top that you can access without having to take the whole bag off. You can just reach behind you and unzip it. Now you have to be careful because you lose a little bit of security with any of these pouches because someone could open them without you really knowing if it's on your back, but it's nice to have the accessibility. So as long as you don't put anything too valuable, you're gonna want a couple of these pouches, and they're really nice because they fill up, they can hold a lot, you'd be surprised. Little smaller handheld cameras or extra batteries, little things like that, just slip them in these side pouches. The other features you're gonna wanna look for would be these straps up top are really nice. In the rain, for example, your rain jacket gets soaked. You don't wanna put it back into your bag, strap it to the top. It's waterproof, it'll drip off, it'll dry eventually, and you're not getting anything else in your bag wet. On the same line of straps, look for straps down the side that you can maybe tie some boots or some shoes into. Again, in the rain, situations like that, if boots get muddy after you go on a hike, you don't want to put them back in your bag, and not to mention they take up a lot of space in a bag. So you want to be able to attach them to the outside of your bag sometimes. This is a great place to put them. If you have a sleeping mat, again, you can put it right into these straps or the straps at the bottom. Look for a bag that has a lot of straps. Again, a feature you may not necessarily think of, but it comes in handy. I can tell you from personal experience, it saved me many times. The rain cover. It's on the bottom of my bag and it's attached, hiding in here. It's perfect. It's covers right over the entire bag, and when it's done, pull it right back and slip it into this waterproof compartment. Nothing in your bag gets wet, and you won't even know it's there, but when you need it, you'll be very thankful you had it. Now, features this bag doesn't have that you might want to consider would be a zipper down the side of your bag. because when the bag is full and packed and you're traveling, you can't just on the road access things that are in the middle of your bag, because you'd have to unpack everything. You open the top, you unpack everything inside to get to one thing in the middle. But if you have a zipper down the side, you can lay your bag on the side, unzip it, open it up, and access anything throughout the whole bag without having to unpack it from the top. Again, if you're strategic, you can pack things in a way that you won't need to access anything in the bottom of your bag on the go, but it could be a nice feature. You lose some security when you do that, but it might be worth it if you want the ability to access your whole bag without unpacking things. Just something to consider. So now, where do you buy a bag? You could go to Sports Authority, you could go to a family-owned business and just try on a couple bags until you find one that you like that has the right features. The problem is you end up spending more money there. And it's nice because you get to try the bag on, but some people get a little nervous if they buy online, which is what I would actually recommend. Because people think, I won't get to try it on, what if it doesn't fit right? But the thing is, on the back of most bags nowadays, you have all these adjustable features. Adjust the height of your straps, adjust how tight the straps are, and you adjust the hip belt. With these three adjustable features, almost any bag can fit you the way it should. And this actually reminds me of another feature, the airflow back here. The back of the backpack will not be touching your entire back with this airflow, because it'll touch on the sides, top and bottom, but you'll have some air that gets back there. You're gonna get sweaty no matter what, I can promise you. In the summer, wherever you're traveling, it gets warm and you can only prevent it so much, but it's nice to have a little bit of airflow. They'll usually label it, so look on the back of your bag and look for that. That's a pretty common feature nowadays, but if you find a bag that doesn't have that, you might wanna steer away from it. It's a good feature to have. But when the bag does arrive in the mail, you get it, and you can adjust all of these features to make sure it fits you the same as it would if you bought it in a store. And if you try on a bag and you really like it in the store, maybe go home, try online, see if you can find it for cheaper. I got this bag for $65 on Amazon, and that's about half of what I would have paid in a store, and it was perfect. I'll post the link in the description so you can actually get the newer model of this exact bag, and I highly recommend it, the Teton 4000. All right, so once the bag arrives and you've adjusted it to fit you properly, and if you like the bag, then you want to customize it to be your own bag. You want to be able to identify it, because around Europe there are a lot of people traveling, a lot of backpacks on and off of trains and ferries and planes, and you are picking up your bag all the time, and you'll get to know it pretty well, but you want to be able to identify it even from a distance. I always had a bright red jacket attached to the top of my bag, so even from across the room or down the street I could identify my bag. And that's a nice way to do it, where you tie some fabric to your bag, or bandanas, or maybe even sew on some patches. Make it so that no matter what, you know your bag, and if it's in a pile of other bags, you can quickly spot it. If someone else accidentally grabs it, or if they're trying to steal it, you're gonna see that it's your bag. And so that's just something you want to do to customize your bag. One last piece of advice I'll give about bags would be, bring a drawstring bag with you. They are really small and cheap, and they're collapsible, so they're really tiny. You just slide it somewhere in your bag, and you'll need it for different day trips. You get to a hostel, you settle down, you lock your big bag in a locker, and then you carry your drawstring bag with you to go out for the night or for the day, and bring only the essentials with you for the day. So you don't have to carry around your huge bag, you just have a nice drawstring bag. Then if you're getting on a plane, use that as your carry-on and check your big bag. That's like the last piece of advice I'd give you. I think that's everything when it comes to backpacks. I have other videos you can find on my channel, where I'll even post them around here on the side of the video screen, and you can click the other videos. I'll give other advice about the different aspects of traveling and hostels and the Eurail Pass, and planning your trip and things like that. So this has been my first video. If you have any comments or other questions, I'd love to help people out as they're trying to travel, because I love traveling. So I hope it was helpful to you. I hope I helped put your mind at ease with some of these weird things when it comes to buying a backpack and picking out the right one. But I guess that's all for now.